Hey guys, welcome to another ramble. Oh my goodness, I was in the shower and well, actually, today I was processing a lot of heavy things, which is good, I suppose, right? A lot of people complain when they don't feel good, but for me, it's like that's like a telltale sign that something is coming to the surface to be released. Think about it. That's why we get sick, you know? A lot of times we spend our time in the world doing many things, and we don't really take the time to stop and rest. So, yeah, in order for our body to get us to stop, it gets sick so that you are forced into rest and recovery. And the body can do what it needs to do to eliminate and discard a lot of toxins that have accumulated, right? That's why, like, whenever I feel uncomfortable, I lean into it instead of, like, going, why is this happening to me? I'm like, oh, okay, I feel uncomfortable. I feel distressed, diseased, um, sad. And I just kind of like embrace that. I don't complain about it. I don't run from it. I might, I might talk to someone about it just to kind of help with the releasing of it, but overall, I just kind of like don't get stuck there, guys. Anyways, I'm hot. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I feel better. Um, what was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, I was in the shower and I was processing stuff, and I was thinking about triggers. You know, I think a lot of people know what triggers are. Triggers are, um, I want to say, sensations in your body, in your mind, that arise when I guess something makes you feel uncomfortable or throws you off balance. You know what I'm saying? It like triggers you into like a reaction of some sort. And it could be physically reactive, it could be mentally, emotionally reactive. It's just a trigger makes you reactive. And I was thinking, okay, what is the purpose of triggers? I'm sure you guys know this, but let's revisit it. I feel like for me, what came to me in the shower was I think we are triggered when I want to say a boundary has been encroached upon. Like when somebody is trying to, I want to say, push their will onto you and it's making you feel uncomfortable, so you'll get triggered. It will also, I want to say, help you to notice when something in you becomes off balance. You know what I mean? So, for most of my life, I have mistaken other people's energies as my own. And, for instance, if somebody was angry, I would mistakenly think that they were angry because of me. Like I would take on their projection because I had no boundary, and because I didn't know how to implement boundaries. I didn't understand boundaries. Like I didn't know much about boundaries, period. And the thing about boundaries is it's not like a hard wall. It's kind of like a gate. It regulates what comes in, what goes out, kind of like your breath, what goes in, what goes out, you know. Yeah, it's a gate. It's not like a hard and rigid wall that prevents things from going in and out. A boundary is like a gate, and you are the gatekeeper, and you get to decide like what gets to come in and what gets to go out. Not someone else. You know, a lot of times when you don't have boundaries, that's when you let people just come in and out as they please and do what they want and take what they want without really asking your permission. And that's why it feels uncomfortable. That's why we get taken for granted. That's why we feel abused and misused and discarded most of the times in relationships. That's why it seems one-sided. It's because we're not the gatekeeper of our boundary. In order to be the gatekeeper of your boundary, you have to know who you are, know what you want, know what you don't want, know what you will tolerate, know what you won't tolerate. And you have to be really, like, I want to say, like, you want to develop a very intimate relationship with yourself, so you know, like, what's your emotions, and you take responsibility for it. And once you do that, and you manage that well, when somebody else comes to you with their energy, their stuff, you'll know that that's not yours. There will be a very clear way to define that. It's hard when you're enmeshed. And I think empaths and codependent people definitely enmesh themselves in other people's energies. And for me, it's just like I'm working on unmeshing myself, so I can be really clear and like true to my energy. And when I interact with other people, it's very clear what's theirs and what's mine. And I don't take theirs on. That's their responsibility, Like, I feel like I've taken responsibility for my energy for most of my life, and now it's time to ensure that other people take responsibility for their energies, good or bad. But anyways, yeah, triggers, boundaries. I might have talked about this before. But yeah, today I woke up, I was kind of feeling a little off kilter, I'm not gonna lie, because I was processing some heavy stuff. Went out, did some errands, and I noticed that the people around me were acting very interestingly. How do I say this? Like, I would encounter people who looked very angry and impatient, or just angry in general. And then I also encountered people who were moving exceedingly slow, like very slow. And I was watching those things, and then I was trying to, like, I want to say, comprehend, like, okay, are these situations reflecting my current atmosphere, or are these people just showing me where they are on a mental from a mental space? Are they showing me their mental state? And I was slightly triggered. I'm not gonna lie, I was slightly triggered. And I was like, okay, I am being triggered, but I'm also catching myself. And I was just kind of exploring that. It's very subtle. Like, if you don't really catch it, like, the subtleties, you'll absolutely miss it. But I noticed I was getting triggered slightly, and I'm like, okay, right now I am getting triggered because I am creating expectations, and what these people are doing realistically in real time isn't aligning with my expectations. So I'm getting triggered. That means I'm getting imbalanced, and I need to rebalance. I need to recalibrate. And how do you do that? Don't take it personally. Accept everything as it is in that moment, So I caught myself, and I did just that. But yeah, it's really interesting. And then a lot of times, like, the grumpy people, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm not really being triggered by the grumpy people, but I can certainly see them in their current state. And I was just like, okay, I'm getting a preview into their current mental state, you know? But it has nothing to do with me. And it's really interesting how radically your reality shifts when you no longer take on other people's stuff, when you don't take things personally, when you don't expect them to be anything than what they are in that moment, when, yeah, you just relinquish responsibility That's to like regulate their energy. It's like regulate your own energy, you know, and then allow people to be. And I think you guys know, like, nobody changes unless they want to. So it's ridiculous to try to impose change on people. So I just kind of let things be. And I think life will continually serve them situations and experiences that will pressure them into the change organically. It's not your responsibility to go in there and just kind of like start messing around and fiddling with other people's realities. It's when they come to you and they try to gatekeep your energy and your reality and your how you should interpret things. That's when it's like, that's a no. That's a no. That's a nar. You know what I mean? And I've gotten into the habit of calling people out. You know, like, I remember before I would be very quiet. I would be very, and now I'm like, okay, right now you are projecting. And if you think about it, dude, oh my God, I was thinking about it. This is a strong word, but I feel like a lot of people who have unhealed traumas that they don't want to take accountability for definitely project that pain onto other people. I think this is common sense. But what's funny is that, where was I going with this? They'll manipulate you into believing that you are the problem. You're not the problem. And if you continue to let them gaslight you into believing you're the problem, then this abusive and unhealthy toxic cycle occurs that is never broken until the I want to say abusee speaks up about it. you know Simple as that. You need to speak up about it. You need to remove yourself. You need to set boundaries. You need to let this person know that they are not the gatekeeper. That's abuse. When somebody, we think abuse is just physical. Dude, subtle, guys. Look at the subtleties. Abuse happened many times over on a psychological, emotional, mental level. And a lot of times, like, people like us, we just kind of like don't say anything, and we just kind of like take it, and we allow ourselves to be like abused and gaslighted and manipulated and betrayed. We betray ourselves. Honestly, we betray ourselves. We gaslight ourselves when we allow other people to do this to us. And we need to, I want to say, be the gatekeeper and the guardian and the protector of ourselves. And we also have to hold ourselves accountable. And when we do that, then we'll be clearer on who we are and clearer on what's going on. And then we can set appropriate boundaries and call people out. But until you like know yourself, like, I just feel like if there's any hint of doubt or insecurity or like indecision on who you are and what you will allow, the boundaries will not be implemented effectively. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not sure of yourself, if you're like doubting yourself, if you're like insecure, how are you going to put boundaries in place? You won't even know like what's good or bad and what should be coming in and what should be going out. You're going to still allow other people to make that decision for you. So it's like really important, I feel, to sit with yourself, to know yourself, to give yourself time, to be present, not take things personally, unravel a lot of the trauma that you have been holding on to, understand it, move through it, and come out the other side. But yeah, boundaries, guys, dude. Don't let people, I don't know. It's funny, my mom told me that I had high standards, or no, high expectations, and I told her, well, is having high expectations, is it having high expectations when you expect someone in a relationship to treat you with respect you know, and the same love and care and consideration and gratitude that you have? I mean, is that too high of an expectation? You know, should I just, am I expecting too much? Should I just let somebody like walk all over me and abuse me and be like, well, you know, I don't want to have high expectations? I mean, I feel like we've normalized like abuse, and it's just like, no. You know, I think it's time for people to wake up on these topics, you know, and to like speak up on it. It's like no more playing small, you know? Not only that, like, not only are you like protecting yourself and safeguarding yourself, you're also teaching other people how to do that to others. You know, it's like, you can't treat me this way. Do you realize what you're doing? And then, you know, if you stand on it, they'll think twice about mistreating you. And then also, they'll probably carry on into other interactions that they have, you know. But it's really interesting. I think it just depends on the individual person and where they are at in the learning schematic, you know, because it's funny. I've met people who like for instance, I'll give you an example. My manager, the previous manager, um, it was a team of 4, my manager included. And when I talked to my coworkers said that my manager treated them very differently than how I was being treated. What I mean by that is, like, for me, she would ask my opinion on things. You know, she would ask for my feedback. She was interested in my ideas, opinions, you know, and stuff like that. With my coworkers said that she would act like a dictator, and they felt like they were walking on eggshells around her. But I think it's because those people didn't know how to speak up for themselves, and also they didn't really know themselves enough to like know what to allow and what not to allow. Because yeah, I would call this manager out on occasion, you know, like stuff like, hey, are you mad at me right now? You know, like something simple like that, like inquiring. And she was like, no, why would you think that? And I'm like, I don't know, it just seems like you've been giving me the cold shoulder for like the whole morning. You've just been giving me the cold shoulder and not speaking. Is it something I've done? Like, and you know, just calling people out, and then they're like, oh, like they respect you more. I feel, you know, they're like, oh, okay, like this person won't allow me to treat them this way, and they don't. So yeah, speak up, guys. Anyways, I don't know if this video made sense, and I know it's long, strong. I feel like there's more I want to talk on, but I don't know. Yeah, there's absolutely more I want to talk on. I just don't think I want to, or else this video is gonna go on for like an hour or something. But I hope you're doing well, and I hope you are taking time for yourself and taking care of yourself, because you are the most important investment. You know, safeguard yourself, gatekeep. You know what you allow and don't allow into your emotional, mental, physical, spiritual space, because it's your space, you know. And nobody else is responsible for that. Nobody else is accountable for that. You are, you know. And everybody else is accountable for their own stuff, whether they care to own up to that or not. Anyways, thank you for stopping by. Blessings to one and all. Amen.